Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum, and today in this video, folks, I'm going to be showing you how to solo the dregs. So, if you folks enjoy this video, please do not forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos. And why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel, who knows, you might just enjoy them. And finally, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video's description, as well as in a pinned comment. Now, for this, I am level 30, and I will be going through the stats and what I am carrying with me, as well as the strategy that I'm going to be using before we actually get to the dungeon. This is a fairly easy dungeon to do, and as you can see on my hotbar, this is what I'm equipping. I've got the iron poniards, but you can obviously use the steel poniards. They don't really make much of a difference. And as you can see, I am using some heavy armor. I've got 4 pieces, and then I have got the royal headpiece. Now, there's a reason for that. Obviously, heavy armor does affect the amount of weight they can carry. I'm also carrying the snake arrows and a bedroll. So as you can see, this is what I've got. I've got a bow, I've got a Stygian sword, and obviously water. I've also got bandages and food, as well as a skinning knife and a cleaver. So as you can see, it's not complicated to make the royal headpiece. I'll show you over here what you need to craft it, and it does help with encumbrance. So that is why I've mixed it like this. Now, to me, this is a good setup. Obviously, you get a lot of armor from what you're carrying, plus the added value in encumbrance. You can go with medium armor if you wish. I just want it to be a bit more tankier, just because. Over here, as you can see, this is what I've got. So you can, at level 30, unlock the weapon and armor enchantment. So this would be the first tier, which is why I recommend level 30, because it does give you that extra bit of damage and armor as well. By doing this, you will obviously unlock the dregs, which the Dredger, actually it's called, which of course will give you some other armor, such as a reptilian armor and other things. But you can use, if you want, an axe. It does have a chance of bleed. I do recommend having a bow with you. Well, actually, you need a bow due to the maze in the dungeon. And also, I am an acolyte of Set, so I've got the tier 2 shrine, which allows us to craft the snake arrows. Snake arrows are easy to craft. You just need the branches, and of course, obviously, by crafting stuff in the altar, you get the manifestations of zeal, which of course is quite easy to obtain. So as you can see, this is what you need to craft the snake arrows, which is what we'll be using on the boss. You can go toe to toe with this guy. It does make the job a bit more challenging, but I would not recommend it. These are my attributes. So as you can see, I've got some stuff put in strength. That is to help me with the damage, vitality, and then encumbrance because of the heavy armor that I'm wearing. So I've got the second perk in vitality unlocked. The aim of the game is, as I level up, to get the third perk in both strength and vitality, as these are quite important. I'm just a bit off the second perk in strength, but it is what it is. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to go for the second perk in strength, then the second perk in vitality as well, and then obviously I also want to get some encumbrance due to the fact that I'm actually carrying heavy armor, or have got equipped heavy armor, which does weigh quite a bit. So here I'm going to go for the second perk, and this is what I'm going to go in with, which should help me quite a bit. Now ideally, as I level up, I'm going to go for the third perks, both in strength and vitality, and I want to max out my encumbrance. This is obviously my preferred build. It is a PvE build, and it normally does serve me quite well. So as you can see, there's 20 points there, and I've got 8 more points to use, but at this point it doesn't really help with that much. So I'm gonna probably put it either in vitality or strength. It really doesn't make much of a difference. But once you do max out the encumbrance, you can run while encumbered. Obviously, you'll consume more stamina. So, because this is a dungeon, I am going to go with vitality. And I'm probably going to put the last point in encumbrance as well. So, that should be me sorted. From this point forth, as you can see, I've got quite a decent amount of health. And I've got enough encumbrance to be able to carry all the stuff that I've got on myself. From this point, I'm going to go to the dungeon, and I'll see you guys just outside the dungeon. So I've laid down a sleeping bag as far as I can, well actually as close as I can to the entrance of the dungeon. We're going to have to go through this NPC camp, and I'm going to take them out one at a time. You can run and kite them and fight them at the entrance of the dungeon. There is a catch: you need to kill them above the door, and this is my location on the map, but I only want one NPC. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to kite them one at a time, or two. As you've seen here, I've actually started doing it and forgot that I wasn't recording. So this is where I'm going to use my arrows, and I'm going to try and dot them up before they get to me, so that the NPCs are nearly dead by the time they reach me. Now obviously this build does have heavy armor, and so I'm going to need to get used to that because I normally use medium armor, but I did want to go for a build with more armor this time around. You can do it with medium armor as long as you can avoid damage. You should be alright. It makes not that much difference. I probably would recommend the royal armor, as that is quite a decent medium armor, and it does give you the encumbrance bonus as well. And at this level, as you saw, you can craft it if you want to. So the main weapons I'm going to be using will be the Stygian sword, the bow, and the poignards. The bow will apply the poison damage over time, and the steel poignards, or the metal poignards, will of course also apply a bleed, which is another damage over time. So the idea behind it is to stack as many dots and wait for them to take out your adversaries. So I'm just going to be careful here. There are thralls on that side, and I don't want to aggro those as well. Okay, so he's got poignards as well. So he's going to apply bleed to me if he catches me, so I need to be careful. I am going to probably struggle a tad bit because I'm used to the roll animation due to the medium armor, but because I've got primarily heavy armor on me, there doesn't seem to be a roll animation, which kind of does throw me off a tad bit. So this is the last thrall. I'm just going to run past them and guide them into the entrance of the dungeon. There is a catch. We do need to slay them above the door, so that unlocks the door. There's also a bit of a bug where they kind of tend to fall through the door, so that is a bit of a challenge. So as you can see, he's halfway through the door, making it hard for me to actually hit him. Okay, he's at the top. Okay, oh, you got that. You got that on me. So I need to keep him on top of the door and make sure that he dies here. There we go. I've got some bleed on me, but that's alright. Not a big issue. That should unlock the door. And obviously, if you've not been here before, if you want a bit of a story, which I always enjoy, just interact with this and you get a bit of a narrative.
Changing sources in the high places and down through the mighty aqueducts that we built to sustain us. And the sewers carry away the waste from the city, washing it away in a torrent of pure.
I always like listening to the story. It's quite nice and well voice acted as well. Over here, you want to interact with this tablet and it will teach you the Dredger, which when I first did it I didn't realize it did that, but I'll show you what it is in a bit. So if you go to feats, there we go. And you want to go to the search. The Dredger is this one over here, and this is what you learn from this. And this is pretty much, you don't even need to do the dungeon to, actually you do need to do the dungeon if you want to get the reptilian armor. Now here there would be some Komodo dragon-like creatures, but for some odd reason I don't see any of them, which is, I don't know what's going on. Last time I was here, this place was full of whatever those creatures are that look like the Komodo dragons. Unfortunately, they're not here. You do want to kill them and skin them for the reptilian hide, which will be used to make the reptilian armor. And when you do unlock the reptilian armor, it does come in two variants. You've got the one at level 30 and the level 60 variant as well. So we're just going to go straight forward. At this point, you'll see a bit of an animation of people opening the door. Basically just interact with the door and go through it. There aren't all that many enemies to actually go through. This is more of a maze or a puzzle. I think there are, let me think, 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 enemies to go through. They are undead, so they can be a bit tough, which is why I opted for the heavy armor, despite the fact that I'm not very used to using heavy armor. But I thought it would give me the added damage bonus, or damage reduction, or bonus in damage reduction. That sounds a lot better. My English is not that great today for some odd reason. Obviously hit that little circle there. That will fill up the chamber with water. Once you've done that, it just is on a timer. It fills it, then it empties it and fills it back up again. So you don't need to do that. Also, the reason I placed a bedroll at the entrance of this dungeon is that if you do die, you will have to go through the whole thing again to get an NPC above the door and unlock it, and then make your way back here. Obviously I'm hoping not to die. There is a chance of that happening because I am kind of challenging myself to it by using the heavy armor. It's just because I'm not used to not seeing the animation of the dodge roll. So there is the second circle that we need to hit. We'll do that. This should fill up this room with water, which should allow us to get to the next door. Now, before we get to the NPCs, I'm just going to say that if you're using medium armor or even heavy armor, the strategy is 1 to 2 hits, then dodge roll. Now, obviously, for some odd reason, the animation of the dodge roll doesn't exist due to my current build, which always throws me off balance because I expect to see it. So over here we need to fill this little area with water again to get to the next bit. You cannot climb here. This is very important. So that has been disabled here. And that is why you need to fill these places with water. There are, after this, 2 other circles that we need to hit with a bow. So I'm trying to get up here now. There we go, finally. So there's one on this side. You can see it just in front of me, and there's one on the right side as well. So I'm gonna just get myself here. There you go. I'm gonna try and get around this without falling. It doesn't matter if I fall down because this will fill up and empty, as you saw before. The second button fills the next chamber, so that is what that's for. I was thinking of trying to get past that way, but as you can see, this is the chamber right here. We cannot get to the steps without the water filling it up, so that means we need to get the button on the right side. I'm gonna wait for the water to fill up to be able to get on that side right there where you can see my cursor. I'm just gonna go down here, so I'm gonna wait for it to fill up, try and climb up here. There we go. And there's the button. See if I can make it back in time before the water starts going down. Perfect. So now this should fill up. Okay, perfect. And that's that. And this is where we need to fight some undead. You cannot bleed them, I believe, and you cannot poison them. So it's going to be a bit of a heavy fight. So get prepared for it. I'm just going to kite him to me. There are 2 more on either side as well, and then 2 at the next door. Oh, I'm so not used to this. So as you can see, the heavy armor is, of course, doing its bit, and I'm not taking all that much damage. I'm just not used to the animation, so he's actually doing a good job on me. Alright, well, I'm not doing that much damage to him, so I'm going to probably end up swapping to the Stygian sword. I can't seem to land the hit. Okay, never mind, let's just go for the sword. There we go. Now, the Stygian sword at this level is one of the best swords that you can get or learn to craft, so it does do a decent amount of damage. I think there's one more. I think there's the axe that does a bit more. It's just by 1 point, so if you apply the weapon enhancement, that also helps. You should unlock it, and I do recommend it. Every little piece of damage does help. So obviously, because I made these mistakes, I'm going to have to heal. This is where the bandage and food comes in handy. And as I said, normally I would dodge roll, but I'm quite confused by the animation. I cannot dodge roll because of the heavy armor. If I were to use medium armor, so there's a guard there and then one on the opposite side. I'm just gonna be careful and heal before I actually kite them. I'm gonna top up my bandages just in case. Now I could go in and do it just like this, but just out of fear of accidentally kiting or pulling the other one, I'm just gonna wait to heal as much as I can. So as you can see, there's one there, and there should be one on this side as well. Alright, nearly there, and time for me to go. There we go. So that's the animation for dodging, which I'm not used to. It throws me quite a bit, and I used a lot of stamina. That's alright, my armor should take it. So normally with these guys, what you want to do is dodge to the side, then run or walk around them in a circle, and they will often miss. They might land 1 or 2 hits on you, but as you can see, the heavy armor has done a good job of protecting me. So I'm going to heal up before I take on the next one, and there should be 2 more down there. And because I'm going to have to fight those 2 down there, I don't want to accidentally pull this guy while I'm fighting them. 3 is a bit too much. Now see, this is where I would expect to see a dodge roll, which is what throws me quite a bit. Okay, he's down. And there's 2 right here. Okay, so I've made a mistake. I've run out of stamina. What I'm going to do is just basically walk around them in a circle. Most often they will miss. They do have a decent range on those weapons as well, so do bear that in mind. Now, I don't lock on target because I find it quite an annoying mechanic in this game, and I prefer to aim my hits manually. I find it a lot easier that way. Perfect. Now, we're not far from the boss himself. We just have to get through this room, and if I remember correctly, at the boss chamber there used to be 2 of these undead ones. I think the button is somewhere on the right if I remember correctly, but we'll have to swim towards the left. So we'll go down this way. So you see the little glowing things in the water, that if you do harvest, you'll get the glowing goop or whatever it's called. And all you need is bones to make the torch that you've learned from the Dredger skill. It is a good torch. It does last, I think, somewhere around 20 minutes or something like that, so definitely worth having. The circle is on that side right there, so this is where we need to go. That's where the circle is, and you can see some green smoke like thing coming out. That's just for show. I just thought I might as well point that out when I did explore this dungeon. That was just for show. It does look nice, it does add to the atmosphere, but this is where we want to be. Okay, nearly. Go on. Perfect. So from this point forth, we are pretty much at the room with the boss. And there should be 2 more of those undead creatures. I'm gonna kite them one at a time down the steps and fight them one at a time. I could take them both on, but I'm just gonna be safe. I'm already here, and I don't really want to make any silly mistakes. Well, this is quite weird. Now, last time I was here, I remember that there were 2 of those undead guards. Unless things have changed. Apparently they're not here. Right, I'm gonna go around the other way to see if that's the same case, but normally they were right here. Okay. So what you heard there was the boss doing his range attack, which is kind of like a poison spit. You don't want to get hit by that. I mean, with the heavy armor, you can take a hit or 2 off of it. Okay, there is a chest here. This is what you'll get from the chest. Yeah, okay, there's no undead creatures. Anyways, I normally prefer to do it from this side because I can go to the right and then pretty much dot him up with the poison arrows. I don't even have to get close to him. All I need to do is kind of position myself so my arrows hit him. I don't even need to spend a lot of time trying to aim my shots. So I'm just going to slide to the right, fire an arrow towards his general direction, hope it hits, then go back behind this pillar. Most often he will not be able to hit me. He will hit the hitbox of the room itself. So as you'll see during the fight, even there you go. So you'll hit the stairs, if you will. He might be able to shoot one in my direction. So that's why it's important to stay moving at all the time. As you can see, he's at the top of the stairs again. Once you've got 10 stacks on them, you can slow down with the arrows. Just refresh the stacks and that should do its business. So as you can see, his health has gone down quite quickly. It's not taking all that much effort. I am wasting arrows, of course. They are ridiculously easy to make. They cost virtually nothing. So from this point forth, I'm just gonna pretty much refresh the dot on him, the poison. And so maybe after every 2 to 3 spits, I'll just fire another arrow into him. There's no point in using the heavy shot. The amount of damage it does is very much insignificant. Or I think I'm just waiting for the dots to take him down. You can, of course, go toe to toe with this, and the strategy for that would be to run around the room, and every time you hear him do the sound for the spit is to dodge roll. You will want to run on the outside of the room to give yourself that added time, and then when he goes under, you want to come down the steps because he will lunge at you. So it is quite a complex mechanic if you want to fight him head on. I think this is a lot easier, and I don't see why you wouldn't take it. He's gone down. The pool that he's in drained. So over here, you want to interact with this, and it will teach you the reptilian stuff. Then you want to harvest him, and you'll get a decent amount of stuff from him. I'm already encumbered, but might as well get out of here. You don't want to wait here too much. This is an acid pool, and it will kill you. So I'm going to show you what I've learned. I've got all of the meat from him, which is good for the Sand Reapers if you want to raise them. This is actually good stuff. It does, I think, give you a 10% chance for a Sand Reaper Queen, which is not a bad percentage if you ask me, to be fairly honest. So where are the stuff? There we go. That's the reptilian armor right there. So this is the level 60 version. This is the level 30 version that you can unlock. So this is another reason why you want to come here at level 30. We've got the sword. We've got the daggers. And the arrows, which of course require fangs from the creature that we just killed. So they're quite expensive to make. This is a dredger, which is what we learned at the beginning of the dungeon. And it will allow us to cook the abyssal meat as well. So I didn't mention that. And at the top is the glowing stick, which is better than the torch. It's actually quite easy to craft, and all you need is the glowing goop and bones. It does last, I believe, for about 20 minutes. So it's better than the first torch that you unlock in the game, which kind of lasts for about, I think, 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. The exit for the dungeon is up here, or down here actually. And you'll see why I said up here. It's because it spawns you up here. And from here on, just make your way to wherever you want to go. You can try and do this at a lower level if you want to. I don't see why you would want to do that, because you will want to be level 30 to have access to the, or to be able to craft the reptilian armor. That is it for this video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative and maybe funny where I made the mistakes. If you have, please don't forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video's description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. Until next time, stay safe, folks.